another one.
I missed a defect. How can I ever show my face again?
Bruh.
So it's rough out here. It is rough out here. It says, looking for advice on how to present myself after a defect miss. I work at a bank and have been testing a tricky change with centers around late month base rate changes with other pending account changes such as a product. Sounds like a question for Mitch, right? It says a product reversion maturity or a product switch to a new product. In a nutshell, when the late month base rate change is input, it's knocking the customer's monthly payment out, and the change was to fix this. I originally started testing this back in February, which I raised the defect due to the version of SQL. The release was developed on not matching our version, and the system was unstable. It took 7 months for the vendors to fix it and return it, which they did out of the blue, and I couldn't pick it up until November due to other work commitments. That's one of the things of working with vendors is that sometimes they work on their own schedule, and now they just come back at the most inopportune times, and now they're like, well, it's done. Test it. And you're like, I don't really have the capacity right now. And it says, it doesn't matter if you have the capacity or not, right? The release needed to be in by the end of the year as it's holding up another release full of regulatory changes, which is deemed important. Another thing with the bank industry, with the pharma industry, so many regulations. And then after you comply with those regulations, they blame you for things that happen, all right? So we have a work stream called fasttrack where small changes of no more than 10 days can be tested. So to cut a long story short, why do people do that? They start off with a long story and then they say to cut a long story short. You could have started off with a short story and then give us context. But anyways, I digress. My company, to cut a long story short, my company, when planning work for the year, forgot to submit the project, so it was agreed to just move it into the fast track scheme. Sounds like a scheme to me. The work involved vastly outweighs a fast track scope, and I pushed for it to be moved back into the project fold, which I was told it couldn't and wouldn't. So I made it clear up front that I can't cover each and every scenario due to the time constraints and will focus on the main ones. So they told you,
do not come.
It is what it is. It happens sometimes, right? During my testing of the complex reversion product, I thought you was going to make a long story short. During my testing of the complex reversion product switch with a late month base rate change, all the calculations match what they should. However, a standard late month base rate with no pending product switch or reversion, which is used to live in environment at the moment when needed stop due to an issue with the code. This was found by UAT, not me. Unfortunately, I tested this scenario under regression and passed the test, which I should have failed as a process, and the calculations don't work. My bad, and I fully owned up to it. Due to the release now having to go back to the vendor for a further fix, the business have stated it may now never go in due to more important work planned for next year. The head of the servicing department, who the change was for, is apparently not happy and sent a snotty email to the head of testing, who has been very supportive of me, asking why it was missed, how it was missed, etc., which has caused some friction. Jesus Christ, this is long. All right, sorry about that. I feel totally bad about this. I've been testing for this team for about 5 years and have never had any issue other than this. And although UAT is there for a reason, it's eating me up inside that I missed this and caused all of this to the point I'm down, miserable, and personally feel I am suffering for the early stages of depression. What the? Having been on antidepressants in the past due to mental health issues and are currently on anxiety tablets already for a different matter. Jeez, that escalated quickly. So, see, this is what work can do to you, right? If you're not strong-willed, this is what work can do to you. I know some are reading this now and probably thinking he's pulling the mental health card to push the blame, etc., which is understandable, but I honestly feel like absolute rubbish. You must not be American if you're using rubbish. At the moment, my work has been supportive, told me that mistakes happen, that That's what UAT is for, and they will deal with it once it's done. I need to forget about it and move on. The system I test, I am the only tester on the team that can test it, and I have been crying. All right, now we're going a little bit extreme here. I've been crying out. Okay, you're crying out. You're crying out for help. Okay, crying out for years for other resources and support, which has never been given. So I do constantly feel a lot of pressure as I have no fallback. Sorry for it to take so much of your time, but do you have any advice on what I should do? All right, so first, gotta be a little bit more concise, right? We're gonna start our timer. It's gonna be shorter to answer the question than it took you to ask the question, all right? But we're gonna start a timer. So, number one, mistakes do happen. And your work is right. That's what UAT is for. Now, here's the deal. You need to set up some processes in place with your managers, with the other teams who are expecting this work to be done, where you can have like something that we do at work, right? Me and the QAs on my team, we meet with our support representative, and we meet with our product owner, product manager, and and our engineering manager, right? And we every other week we have a discussion about what defects are pending and which ones are having a significant customer impact, and how can we prioritize it so that if there is something that is critical, like the thing that you were talking about, there is more awareness, and it's not like pushed to the back burner until like, oh, now that I have some time for it. No. If it's really important to the company, then it shouldn't be on one person to figure out, well, I'll get to this when I have some time to get to it. It should be more of what is the plan? Like what is the priority on this? If this is top priority, then we need to start we need to get this into like I don't know if you guys work with sprints or with Kanban, but get it into the to-do list. And that way it can be tested and it can have UAT earlier rather than later. You got to figure it out. Now, the next thing that I would say is I think one of the mistakes that people make is that they look back on the past and they just let that eat at them for so long, when there is absolutely nothing you can do to change the past. This is not Back to the Future, right? You cannot go in the past and change it. What you can do, the only thing you can do from the past is learn from it. You cannot continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, but you can learn from one mistake and say, okay, it's not, and it's not the idea of like, oh, well, I will never make this particular mistake again. And now I have to you're going to spend hours upon hours and upon hours on testing every single potential defect. What you have to do is, okay, based on what happened, what kind of processes can I put in place to implement this? What strategy can I employ so that this won't happen? I mean, there was the process of UAT that was in place, but if you're looking to how can we catch this before it gets to UAT, which the UAT is technically the last line of defense, which the process worked. But like you said, you are the only person who is working on a multitude of other things. You've asked for help, and maybe it's a blessing in disguise that they say, okay, this one fellow is trying to they were not able to get to this for this amount of time because they were working on all these other more important things that we deemed. So we do need to maybe the people that you do UAT, we can use them to start testing earlier when these vendors just randomly come out of the blue and say, hey, this is fixed, we need it to be tested. And because of our priorities that we have set for our one individual tester, hey, can somebody look into this? There are defects that go into production all the time, and sometimes you got to roll it back. It's a little bit tougher when you're working with a vendor that the vendor got it wrong, right?
I've never been afraid to walk away, left their shadows in yesterday. They thought they owned the lock and key, but I'm the storm they didn't see.
They whispered doubt behind my back, thought my strength was what I'd lack, but I've turned scars into a flame. Their doubts just fuel my untamed name.
I don't care
For which my head held high, left the chains beneath the sky. They thought I'd crumble, thought I'd fall, but I'm the one who breaks the wall.
I've never been afraid to let it all go. They thought they held the strings of my show, bound by their words, but they don't know. I'm the storm, I'm the fire, I'm the glow.
They thought my roots would never grow in fields where winds of freedom blow, but here I stand unshaken, bold, a story no one else could hold.
They thought I'd crumble, thought I'd fall, thought I'd be nothing, thought I'd crawl, but I'm the one who stands so tall. I walk away, I take it all.
I'm the echo in the empty halls, the rebel laugh when silence calls. They thought my song would fade away, but I'm the voice they can't betray.
I've left behind the chains they made. The whispers try to make me afraid, but I don't bow, I don't obey. I walk my path, I find my way.
I don't got to which my head held high, left their chains beneath the sky. They thought I'd crumble,